you here? You or your administration? Y'all need to go. Mayor, you might as well step down too. Because I'm tired of that too. This is a disgrace.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, is at the center of a growing scandal that has raised serious concerns about corruption within her administration. Allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and questionable decision-making have sparked intense scrutiny of her leadership. Critics have pointed to patterns of behavior that suggest Henyard has failed in her fiduciary responsibilities, accusing her of misusing taxpayer funds and improperly managing the affairs of the village. As the investigation progresses, subpoenas have been issued, and new evidence continues to surface, leading many to question whether Henyard's decisions were driven by personal or political motives, often to the detriment of the public welfare. Public sentiment in Dalton has soured significantly, with residents expressing frustration over the lack of transparency and accountability from Henyard's administration. Many are demanding clarity on the scope of the alleged wrongdoing, fearing that their trust has been betrayed. The ongoing scandal has exposed a fragile relationship between elected officials and the community, raising serious doubts about the administration's ability to regain public confidence amidst the mounting pressure. With the investigation showing no signs of slowing, the broader consequences for Henyard and the village remain uncertain. The tensions between Henyard and the Dalton Board of Trustees reached a boiling point during a controversial meeting that Henyard proceeded with despite the trustees' decision to postpone it. The trustees had decided to either change or cancel the meeting, but their failure to provide the legally required 10-day notice sparked accusations that they violated state law and undermined the democratic process. Critics argue that this was an intentional effort by the trustees to obstruct Henyard's leadership, while Henyard's supporters contend that she was merely exercising her right to proceed with the meeting despite political interference. This confrontation is just the latest in a series of clashes between Henyard and the board, highlighting the growing divide between the two parties. The ongoing conflict over the postponed meeting has reignited debate about the balance of power within Dalton's local government. Henyard's supporters view the trustees' actions as political gamesmanship, designed to intentionally impede her ability to lead, while her critics argue that she is overstepping her authority by attempting to bypass the board's decisions. Regardless of perspective, the clash underscores deeper governance issues within Henyard's administration. It reveals a pattern of power struggles, violations of procedural norms, and a leadership style that appears increasingly unwilling to cooperate or compromise. Public trust in both the mayor and the board is rapidly eroding, and Dalton residents are growing increasingly concerned about the future of their local government and the stability of their community's leadership. With both Henyard and the board under fire, the situation in Dalton has become a case study in the fragility of local governance. The escalating tensions between the two sides leave many wondering just how far Henyard is willing to push her position to counter what she sees as deliberate obstruction. At the same time, some view the trustees' actions as an attempt to wrest control from Henyard's administration, further complicating the situation. The need for transparency, accountability, and a commitment to the rule of law has never been more urgent. As investigations continue and the battle for control rages on, Dalton's residents are left hoping for answers and a restoration of order in their community's governance. The question remains, will Henyard's administration be able to recover from this crisis, or will it signal the end of her leadership in Dalton?
Didn't want to file a lawsuit against the village, but it didn't sit right not to do anything, and I wanted...
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, is at the center of a rapidly escalating scandal that involves serious allegations of financial mismanagement and abuse of power. Investigations into her administration have revealed troubling patterns of careless financial practices, fueling growing concerns among Dalton residents about the proper use of taxpayer money. These allegations include extravagant spending, exorbitant security costs, and untracked credit card transactions, all of which have raised alarms, especially given the town's already significant debt burden. Residents are increasingly concerned that their hard-earned tax dollars have been misused for personal or political gain, adding to the anxiety over Dalton's fiscal future. The ongoing investigations have intensified scrutiny of the town's finances, and critical questions remain unanswered. Foremost among these is how much taxpayer money has been misappropriated and whether systemic issues of financial mismanagement have been at play. The uncertainty surrounding public fund allocation only deepens the frustration of a community already burdened by financial instability. The lack of transparency surrounding Henyard's financial actions has significantly eroded public confidence in her leadership. Critics argue that her administration has failed to prioritize fiscal responsibility, allowing excessive spending to take precedence over the village's financial health. Reports of lavish expenditures, unexplained credit card charges, and high security costs are seen by many as wasteful and unnecessary. This has fueled mounting public scrutiny, with many questioning Henyard's ability to effectively manage Dalton's finances. At the same time, authorities are continuing to investigate, hoping to uncover the full extent of the alleged financial mismanagement. Residents are eagerly awaiting clarity, hoping for assurances that future governance will be more transparent, fiscally responsible, and committed to restoring public trust. As the investigation deepens, broader concerns are emerging about the relationship between leadership and financial stewardship, and whether Dalton's government can return to a state of stability and integrity. The growing investigation has elevated the stakes for Henyard's administration. The outcome of the investigation will have significant political and legal consequences, not only for Henyard, but also for the community at large. The pressure is mounting as residents anxiously watch whether the ongoing scrutiny will result in tangible consequences, such as legal action or a shift in leadership. This scandal represents a pivotal moment for Dalton, and the town's future trajectory depends heavily on how the situation is handled. Questions surrounding the extent of the financial mismanagement and the role of village leadership continue to dominate public discourse. The ultimate question remains whether Henyard can weather the growing storm of criticism, or if the mounting evidence will be too much to overcome, leading to a dramatic shift in Dalton's political landscape. While Henyard's defenders claim that the accusations are politically motivated and frame the investigation as an attempt by her opponents to undermine her authority, many residents are skeptical. The lack of clear answers and the growing sense of uncertainty have only deepened the divide between Henyard and the public she serves. The mounting frustration has left residents demanding greater accountability and corrective actions from their leaders. As the investigation continues, the community is left wondering if the allegations will lead to meaningful consequences, such as legal action or a change in leadership. The possibility of substantial reforms in Dalton's governance hangs in the balance, and residents are eager to see if this scandal leads to a future guided by integrity, transparency, and sound fiscal practices. Dalton is at a critical juncture. The outcome of the ongoing investigation will have far-reaching implications, not just for Henyard's administration, but for the trust between elected officials and their constituents. As the situation develops, it is clear that the community's faith in its leadership is on the line. For now, Dalton residents remain on edge, hoping for clarity and reassurance that their leaders will be held accountable and that their town's future will be guided by strong, responsible governance.
Had this wonderful platform, and she just destroyed everything and anything.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-styled super mayor of Dalton, is embroiled in a rapidly intensifying scandal surrounding allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and unethical conduct. Initially heralded for securing funds for seniors, veterans, and new housing developments, her leadership has come under fire as investigations into her administration deepen. The central focus is on her handling of the village's permitting and licensing practices, which have raised suspicions of improper favoritism and abuse of authority. Among the key accusations against Henyard is the reckless use of taxpayer funds for personal and political gain. Reports indicate that Henyard allegedly blocked certain business owners from obtaining necessary permits, while granting favorable treatment to others whose businesses aligned with her interests. This has led to accusations of cronyism and potential violations of public trust. Additionally, the FBI has requested financial documents, including travel expenses, payroll records, and reimbursement forms, as part of a broader investigation into her financial dealings. One of the most troubling allegations is the $40,000 and charge from Amazon, along with other unexplained expenses, which have prompted authorities to scrutinize Dalton's spending practices. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has specifically called for an inquiry into Henyard's 2023 vacation to Las Vegas with 2 village trustees, questioning the appropriateness of such expenditures given Dalton's already precarious financial situation. Further adding to the controversy, Henyard is accused of spending over $1 million on personal protection services, a decision that critics argue has strained the village's finances. A high cost of security reportedly led to a shortage of officers for regular duties, forcing them to work overtime, which resulted in exorbitant payouts. One officer received $188,000 and in overtime pay in 2023, while another earned $114,000 and in 2024. Compounding these issues are additional allegations of financial misconduct. Heath Dubus, a senior administrator in Dalton, has come under scrutiny for bankruptcy fraud and failing to disclose significant revenue on his tax returns. Investigators also discovered that he owed $442,000 and to various vendors, raising further questions about financial oversight within the village government. Moreover, Dalton faces potential legal action over unpaid debts, including the threat of a local bank seizing village vehicles, such as police cars, due to unpaid balances. The financial turmoil is further exacerbated by reports of improper bidding processes. Henyard awarded a no-bid contract worth $200,000 and to a suburban construction company with ties to past corruption scandals. The company's owner is currently facing sentencing for allegedly bribing a county assessor to reduce overdue taxes on family properties. Despite these mounting issues, Henyard continued with plans for a $1 million Facebook giveaway in February 2024, claiming it was to commemorate Black History Month, a decision that further angered residents already concerned about Dalton's financial struggles. However, the situation took an even darker turn, with accusations of intimidation and harassment. A former employee alleged that Henyard retaliated against her after she spoke out about a sexual assault incident involving a trustee during a business trip to Las Vegas. The employee described becoming disoriented and confused during the trip, later finding herself in a hotel room experiencing physical discomfort. Officer Byron Miles, a member of Henyard's security detail, reportedly informed the woman that the trustee had bragged about engaging in unprotected sex with her. Miles also claimed the trustee had shown him disturbing photos of the woman, which he allegedly took during the trip. After the employee reported the incident to Henyard, she was told not to go public with the allegations as it would ruin her life. Days later, the employee was placed on unpaid medical leave and subsequently fired, which further fueled outrage. The retaliation extended to Officer Miles, who was reportedly demoted to patrol duty as punishment for coming forward with the allegations. This has led many to believe that Henyard attempted to suppress evidence of misconduct and intimidate those who could potentially harm her administration. The allegations of harassment, intimidation, and retaliation have created an atmosphere of fear and mistrust within Dalton's local government, as employees and officials appear pressured to remain silent or face repercussions. The political fallout has been just as troubling. Henyard has been accused of silencing political opponents and even dispatching hitmen to target tenants of a political rival. Reports also suggest that Henyard used her influence over the police department to ensure that her interests were protected and her complaints were ignored. These allegations paint a disturbing picture of a leader willing to go to extreme lengths to maintain power. As investigations continue and more allegations surface, public trust in Henyard's leadership has eroded significantly. Critics argue that her administration has fostered an atmosphere of fear and retribution, while others question her ability to govern ethically and effectively. Despite Henyard's defenders framing the investigations as politically motivated, the mounting evidence against her continues to grow. The situation has left many in Dalton wondering whether Henyard will be held accountable for her actions, or whether she will weather the storm and retain her position of power. The consequences of this scandal extend far beyond Henyard's career. The future of Dalton's governance is now in question, with residents hoping for greater accountability, transparency, and responsible leadership. As the investigation progresses, the stakes are higher than ever, and the people of Dalton remain on edge, awaiting answers, and hoping for a resolution that restores integrity to their local government.